It's do or die. The Arizona Cardinals have one final shot to make it into the postseason, and it comes down to today's final battle against the LA Rams. As always, there's lots to get into, so let's kick things off. Everyone to the Cardinals Pre-Game Show. Lisa Matthews, Kyle Odegard here with you, getting you set for today's big game in LA. But before we dive into this one, make sure you don't miss a thing by hitting that like button and subscribing to our official YouTube channel for all of our exclusive coverage on your Arizona Cardinals. Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome into 2021, where there's one game guaranteed, and that is today against the LA Rams. One more chance to fight for a playoff spot, and luckily the Cardinals will be able to do so with quarterback Kyla Murray. But Kyle, there are some key pieces on offense that will be out in today's game.
Yeah, Christian Kirk went on the COVID-19 reserve list on Saturday, which means he won't play. Larry Fitzgerald has a groin injury that kept him out of practice all week, and he is inactive for this game. So it's a shame that Larry Fitzgerald cannot play in this contest. The Cardinals will certainly miss his leadership, will miss the plays he makes on the field, and Christian Kirk too. Those are two of your three best receivers who the Cardinals will not have. So I think a big spot for a guy like Andy Isabella, a guy like Keyshawn Johnson, tight end Dan Arnold might get more targets, but certainly less than perfect that Christian Kirk and Larry Fitzgerald are both inactive for this game.
Yeah, tough to miss your two top weapons in this offense, but they will have their main weapon, and that's Kyla Murray. And he discusses the magnitude of today's game and his mentality on taking the field despite suffering an injury.
There really is no, holding back. We lose, I'll be home chilling. So, I mean, my leg, I'm fine.
If you know that cat personally, that doesn't surprise you at all. He's about doing whatever it takes to put the team in a position to win. He's one of those guys that he doesn't shy away from these types of moments. That's not something that I expect from him at all. Like you said, this isn't his first time being in a big game.
Well, someone who is getting thrown into the fire during a big game, and that is John Wolford, the Rams' backup quarterback, because Jared Goff is out for today's game, as you know, suffering a dislocated finger. So, Kyle, what do we know about John Wolford here?
We don't know a bunch about him because he's never played an NFL regular season snap. He did get some preseason action last year for the Rams, but obviously they didn't have preseason this year because of COVID-19. He's a guy who actually played for the Arizona Hotshots of the AAF in 2019, which is how he got his opportunity with the Rams. The Cardinals have seen some tape of the AAF in preseason. They looked at his Wake Forest tape back when he was in college, but certainly you don't have the type of bead you do on a guy like Jared Goff or any other quarterback that's been in the NFL for a long time.
And that unknown kind of scares me a little bit more. The disappointment of last week going up against third-string quarterback for the 49ers, an undermanned team all around. When you look at this game, it seems favorable considering all the weapons that they are missing on offense. But once again, we experienced the disappointment in last week's game.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals clearly can't take the Rams offense lightly, like you said, because of what happened. But having John Wolford instead of Goff is obviously a good thing for the Cardinals. Cooper Kupp is on the COVID-19 list, and he's not going to play. The Rams have some running back issues. There's a lot of guys on both offenses that aren't going to play in this game. The big thing to me, the Cardinals have Kyler Murray. The Rams don't have Jared Goff, and that's obviously advantage Cardinals.
As we know, the Rams have won 7 straight. Still can't find the answer against a Sean McVay's team. It's been a roadblock. But more so on the defensive side, this Rams defense always gives the Cardinals some trouble, and obviously not being with Goff this week, but they do have Aaron Donald. Kind of what is and I'll ask Darren this a little later on, what's the secret sauce with this Cardinals team in order to overcome that this week?
I do think they're going to have to run the ball efficiently in this game. The Rams like keeping two high safeties back so you don't beat them with the pass game. And when that happens, that means you have a numbers advantage running the ball. And last time they played against the Rams, those Rams defensive linemen were able to just win the matchup against the Cardinals offensive line. If the Cardinals can flip that script a little bit, get the rushing game going, that means you're moving the ball, and then the passing game will open up a little bit off of that. So I think a guy like Kenyon Drake is important in this game. The offensive line is huge for them to start winning those matchups because, yeah, Aaron Donald is a great player, but if you have 5 or 6 blockers against 4 or 5 guys trying to get the running back, you should be able to win those matchups.
And in this game, obviously, Kyla Murray has a chance as a pro, second year in this system, to step up, lead his team to victory. Do you put it more on this offense to step up today, or is it more on the defensive side of the ball?
I think defensively, I mean, you look at this game, the Rams are so depleted on what they have offensively that, yeah, I think this is going to be a defensive showdown. And if you let John Wolford feel comfortable in the pocket and make some easy throws and move the ball, and if you give up 20 to 23 points to the Rams in this game, in a normal game, that's a pretty good job. But I think 20 points and above against the Rams offense that has so many missing pieces, to me, that wouldn't be favorable.
Yeah, making John Wolford feel uncomfortable up front. We've seen Reddick step up, Golden at times. Who else would you like to see up front make a push here today?
Yeah, I think not having so many pass rushers, I think Zach Allen is an important piece. He's a guy who's had some pretty good games recently. If you can get an interior push from anybody, that's a big deal. I think Zach Allen is the most likely guy to do that today.
It will be a battle up front. In fact, let's head into one of our favorite segments, Debate This. Our guys, Dave Pasch and Ron Wolfley, get to go head-to-head and have their own battle before calling today's game. Guys, welcome back. It feels good to have you back here at State Farm Stadium. You guys know the drill, 3 questions, and you get 30 seconds to answer and then rebuke. Are you guys ready?
I just want you to know, I'm going to let Wolf win today because I still feel bad that I'm the only reason he did not call the game last week. So I still feel guilty about that. So I'm going to be nice and let Wolf win. At least that's what I'm saying right now before we start.
Hey, let's make him earn it here, okay? Question number 1, leading off this debate. What has most been the Rams' horn in this side of the Cardinals? Excuse me. Pasch, you lead it off.
It feels like Jared Goff always plays well against the Cardinals, but I think it's Sean McVay. It's since Sean McVay took over, he hasn't lost to the Cardinals, and the games have not been close. I think Sean McVay has a great feel for coaching. It's not just offensive football. He knows everything that's going on. He's a culture builder, and it's one of the reasons he got the job at the age he did. He grew up in the NFL. He was groomed to be a coach. And for whatever reason, he has the Cardinals' number. So Jared Goff would be number 2 for me, but I think it's Sean McVay.
Yeah, I would have to say, guys, that it's Aaron Donald in the defense for the Los Angeles Rams. That's been the horn in the side. I think when you go back and you look over the last 3.5 years, think about that. That's how long it's been since the Arizona Cardinals have beat the Los Angeles Rams. You go back and look at it, I think the defense has been very, very underrated for the most part, very understated. And Aaron Donald is the most destructive force in the football universe. A 3 technique that you can line up, a guy that impacts your rushing attack and a guy that also can break down protections and get a lot of pressure on a quarterback. There's no doubt about it. To me, the proverbial horn in the side for the Arizona Cardinals has been Aaron Donald.
You mean Thorn?
Thorn?
What's a
I said horn.
Horn, okay.
A Ram's horn.
A Ram's horn,
yeah,
David.
Yeah, I don't. It's too corny.
See,
for
that's
me.
that Syracuse.
Yeah, it's just
that's Syracuse showing right there.
Are you calling us
too
corny?
cheesy. It's just yes, it's a thorn. It's
He
not
wrote
a
it, not me.
horn.
I'm not cheesy. All right, question number
words,
2.
I get that.
The writer did it, okay? Question number 2. How do you best prepare for a complete unknown at quarterback? Wolf, take it away.
Yeah, it's a really difficult proposition, but I will say this. Listen, John Wolford is going to come out here and he's going to run the Los Angeles Rams offense. It's not like you're going to design this brand new offense around this one quarterback who's making his first start in the National Football League. He's going to throw his first pass in the National Football League. You're not going to design this brand new offense. The Rams are going to run their offense. Now, they may have some more zone read than what we've seen out of Jared Goff in the past. But Jared Goff and the Rams, they have run the zone read from time to time. They have run some RPOs from time to time. Will you see more of that? Yeah, there's a likelihood you will with John Wolford. But, yeah, you prepare for him just like you're going to prepare for anybody else, because the Rams aren't going to come out here and suddenly change their offense.
I think the only concern is you don't know whether you can fool him. You don't know how smart he is until you actually see him get in the game and play. You may think, okay, he's a rookie, he hasn't played in a game. We can throw some things at him that he won't expect. But then you do it, and you're like, oh, wow, he knew that was coming because he watches film and he's smart. And that's the thing that everybody says about John Wolford, that he's a really good athlete and that he's very smart. And I remember him at Wake Forest. And I think one of the things that hurt him was his size. And if John Wolford is coming out in 2020, maybe things are different. Maybe he's a draft pick instead of going undrafted like he was a few years ago, because the guys like John Wolford, everybody's drafting him now. I think Sean McVay has him for a reason. I did some homework this week asking around about him, even some people that know him from Winston-Salem. And there's a reason Sean McVay took him to be the backup to Jared Goff. He sees something there.
All right, Pash, you ready for some more cheese here in question number 3?
Did you write it, or are you going to blame Kyle again, Lisa?
This is all Tim Delaney here. Putting on him.
Okay, well, Tim's the boss. I guess I should.
He's the boss man. I got to read. Question number 3. If Kyler is A, Hopkins is B, who is the X factor for the Cards?
I'm going to throw a very strange one out there. Isaiah Simmons. And here's why. Okay? I don't think Isaiah Simmons is going to play a ton, but I think he's the type of player, we saw it against Seattle, that can make some impact plays. This is why you drafted Isaiah Simmons. Maybe not yet to be that guy, but I just have a feeling that he's going to make something happen today when he's on the field. And I think Hassan Reddick would be another guy. I know you said one, but I would think Hassan Reddick would also be in the mix.
There's that Syracuse University showing once again. It's Jordan Hicks. Clearly, it's Jordan Hicks who's got to be the X factor here today. Listen, the onus is on the defense to go out and win a game for the Arizona Cardinals. The offense has got a tall task, a tall hill to climb in front of them. That's that defense for the Rams. Your offense needs to be shut down, meaning the Rams, and that means that Jordan Hicks has got to get everyone lined up inside of that box, do a great job being physical at the point of attack, getting off blocks, and making tackles. Because the Rams, they're going to line up and they're going to run the ball. They saw the 49ers tape last week. They saw their first game and what they did in that. And that game was a game that it was predicated on one play, and that play was the tackle zone or the stretch play to either side, and the 5 plays that come off of that thing. They're going to line up and try to pound the football with a quarterback who's never thrown the ball in the NFL. That means Jordan Hicks has got to shut it down.
Yeah, but the X factor isn't the guy that you're just saying go do your job. I mean, that's all you're saying about Jordan Hicks. Just go do your job.
You're talking about a guy who's not even going to be out there playing.
Yeah, on special teams, and he's going to play some on defense. An X factor is somebody who's going to make something happen. I'm hopeful Jordan Hicks just makes a tackle, which he couldn't do last week.
You could have gone Devondre Campbell. I mean, here's a guy that is playing for a huge bonus out there today. So you could have gone there. That much I would have believed. Now, all of a sudden, you're throwing Isaiah Simmons out there.
Yeah, Campbell has a lot on the line, money included. Okay, time for your closing remarks. Pash, you up first.
When you come into the NFL with the hype that Kyla Murray had and still has, and for a good part of the season play like an MVP caliber player, and the team falls on hard times, everybody's looking at you, not just in that locker room, but nationally. You go out and you win today, you play well. I know Wolf said the onus is on the defense. To me, it's still all about Kyla Murray. You win today, you make the playoffs, Kyla Murray all of a sudden takes a huge step in his maturation and also his perception around the league. This is about Kyla Murray today.
I think, to me, listen, the Arizona Cardinals have played up to a standard of their opponent all year long. I've been talking about it all year long. I'm sick and tired of actually talking about it all year long. And I will tell you right now that they need to find their own standard. And that has got to start at some point in time where your offense, your defense, and your special teams, they all play up to a level a standard that you set. You've got to have a bar before you can set the bar. And the Cardinals today would be a great day to go out in all three phases and be prepared to do your job and play this game to the ground with blood under your nails.
Boy, that sounds like something out of a fortune cookie. I mean, like, have a take here, Wolf. Don't just like.
What are you talking? You know what? Honestly, see, said by a play-by-play guy.
Oh man!
Once again, when's the last time you played, Dave?
We missed you guys so much. All right, let's do this, Kyle. Who won in this
Dave,
one?
I like the Kyla Murray point, but a horn in their side is a fantastic pun, and I'm sad that you didn't understand it.
I understood it. I just didn't like it.
No, he did not,
Ron
Kyle.
Wolfley, blowout victory.
He did not, Kyle.
Puns always win.
Wolf
Puns
won
always win.
easily. I think Dave tanked it from the beginning.
I went to Syracuse.
We're just happy. We're just happy to have you guys both back here and in good health.
Thank you, Lisa.
Hopefully see you in the post-game
Wolf's
show.
always been healthy. Again,
That's true.
It's all me. Sorry, Wolf.
Good to have you guys back.
All right, guys. We'll see you in the post-game show. Well, it's been a roller coaster of a year with the Cardinals this season, but to continue on this wild ride, they must put everything on the line here today. It's our Minute to Win It, presented by Desert Financial Credit Union.
It's in our hands. You know, at the end of the day, we win, we're in, and everybody understands that. And you know, that's what you play. That's what you play for. You play to control your own destiny.
You can feel the pressure. You know, these are the games that you have to win. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I think guys understand that. The level of intensity was pretty high. You know, the implications are definitely in the air.
I love it. You know, I love it. You know, everything has to go into it this week. You know, it's for all the marbles. And, you know, what better opportunity would you rather have than playing up against a divisional opponent for everything?
If games were decided on what looked better on paper, there's no point in trotting out there and playing the games at all. So we got to go out there on Sunday and we have to win a game. And it doesn't matter to me what we did in the past. Like I've said before, we have to go out and win, and that's all that matters.
You know, it's an opportunity that, you know, only we could ask for. Because, you know, opportunity to play in the playoffs, get in. And we're right where we want to be, obviously, with everything that's happened this year. And, yeah, we still got opportunity. So I think everybody should embrace it and leave it out on the field on Sunday.
Yeah, we've seen the energy, the intensity really just in waves throughout this entire season. To me, it comes down to the captain stepping up here, Buda Baker, Patrick Peterson, getting these guys ready.
Yeah, you're right. I think in big games like this, you want to rely on your stars to have huge games. And a guy like Buda Baker, he had the neck injury on Thursday, and there was some question if he was going to be active for this game, but he is going to play, like you said, huge piece defensively to have him ready to go.
And I believe he's mic'd up, which you will be able to see on our YouTube channel if you're subscribed, of course, to our official channel. All right, let's take a look at who's in and who's out in today's game. Obviously, what we do know, Larry Fitzgerald is out, but Chase Edmonds will be active, another guy that was dealing with some injuries this week, Kyle.
Yeah, that's a big one. Chase Edmonds didn't practice all week. He left last game against the 49ers with a hip injury, and he is active. We'll see if he's limited at all in this game because he didn't practice and because you have Kenyon Drake. But to me, Chase Edmonds has been one of your most explosive skill players all season long. And considering you don't have Larry Fitzgerald, you don't have Christian Kirk, if he's anywhere close to 100%, I think Chase Edmonds is going to be a critical player in this game.
And for the Rams, of course, we do know that Jared Goff is out in this. Cooper Kupp, question mark, was Akers, and he is active.
Yeah, Cam Akers is a guy that it seems like the Rams needed because Darrell Henderson, their leading rusher, is out, and he's been kind of a platoon guy with Cam Akers. So I think that having him is important for them, but he had a high ankle sprain 2 weeks ago. We'll see, much like Chase Edmonds, will he be limited in this game?
Well, it's week 17, so you expected a lot of players banged up, but a lot of fight left, obviously, in this one, which is why nothing would have stopped Kyla Murray, I think, in taking field. A lot of question marks heading into this one. Let's take a live look at SoFi Stadium presented by Verizon as the guys are warming up for this one in the beautiful new stadium. Of course, the first time the Cardinals are there in LA. Kingsbury getting his team ready for this one. Obviously, want to see him be able to lead the way here for his team. A big game, again, going up against his friendly foe, I guess you can say, Sean McVay. Those two offensive minds going at it once again.
Yeah, and we'll see what this looks like early on. Everybody's going to be hyped up, and Cliff Kingsbury wants to prove that he can get his team into the playoffs in his second year, and all these guys are excited. We'll see how that manifests itself in the first quarter.
Well, let's bring in our Cardinals insider, Darren Urban, with a deeper look in today's game. You are back on the road, Darren, with the team. How are your views over there in the new stadium?
It's a gorgeous stadium, Lisa, which you would expect for the billions of dollars it costs to put it together. But it'll be really nice when there's fans in here. There's obviously not yet, but it is nice. And I'll be looking forward to kind of walking around when we have a situation where it's not COVID protocols too. But it's going to be an interesting game here today.
Yeah, and you probably can give the best sense of this team's mentality right now, a week full of practices that they called intense and players being locked in. Have you seen another level in terms of just the urgency from the players?
I don't think there's any question, Lisa, that there's an urgency, but I hesitate, having done this for so long, when we start talking about, guys being urgent in practice and showing things in practice and then having it definitely translate to the games. I've been doing this long enough. Heck, you've been doing this long enough that there have been plenty of weeks where you hear later that, oh yeah, we won a game, our practice wasn't particularly that great that week, or vice versa. A lot of times we'll hear, yeah, I don't know what happened today when we lost badly because we had a great week of practice. So I don't know if it always translates, but they understand the urgency. They understand what's on the line here. And I think they understand that there's a lot more than just a single game or a single playoff spot. I mean, the way the season is going to be viewed, especially with the way they struggled in the second half, is going to be under the microscope if they don't win this game.
Darren, we had a shot of Kyla Murray on screen. Can you tell about his mobility? He obviously had the leg injury late against the 49ers. Does he look like he's moving around okay? And how do you think he's going to handle this one? Do you think he's going to run less because of the leg, or do you think it'll be all systems go?
I think from what little I've been able to see him during the week and then what little I've seen him today, I think he's all systems go. I kind of was thinking, even coming off the field after Saturday's loss, he would probably be okay. And once he started practicing full, that kind of eliminated all doubt for me. Now, whether he runs more today, I think we're going to have to see. The problem is the Rams have a really good defense, Kyle, and they're going to be prepared, especially with Chase Edmonds potentially limited, and the fact that their defensive line by itself can probably give Kenyon Drake a tough time, that they can afford to do some things to make sure Kyla Murray doesn't hurt them on the ground. And I think that's going to be one of their number one priorities. I mean, to me, if I'm the Rams, number one is take D-Hop out of the game, and number two is to make sure Kyla Murray doesn't beat me with his legs, and then go from there.
Yeah, and that's going into my question. They still have the real problem without Goff on the field here today, and that's Aaron Donald. To me, what is a secret sauce, would you say, for this Cardinals offense to finally overcome what this Rams defense has done to them time and time again?
I think that's the $64,000 question, Lisa, and I wish I had an answer, because if I did, I'd probably get paid a lot more money. But I would say that ultimately, and Kyle wrote about this week on azcardinals.com, that the need to get a running game going more efficiently than they've already had, I think is super important. The question is, how much can Chase Edmonds give you? When this running game is going well, it's because Kyler Murray and Kenyon Drake and Chase Edmonds are threats. And if Chase Edmonds is limited, I wonder a little bit about how overall effective the running game can be against this defense.
And on the flip side, when you have a guy as inexperienced as John Wolford at quarterback, do you think that changes the way Vance Joseph approaches this game? Do you get more aggressive with blitzes because the guy hasn't seen much of that at the NFL level?
Ultimately, I think you have to. I think that's what players would think. I think that's how you have to attack a young quarterback. I mean, you have to be smart with it, and you also have to be disciplined in the idea that what the Rams do offensively anyways, because it does tend to fool your defense with some of their misdirection. But I do think you need to be aggressive. I think you need to go tell your secondary, which now has Jalen Thompson back and has Budda Baker out there, and you tell Patrick Peterson and Drake Kirkpatrick, who was active but didn't play last week and should be a little healthier. And you got to say, guys, you have to shut down a Rams passing attack that doesn't have Cooper Kupp and doesn't have Jared Goff, and you guys have to do your job on the back end so we can get more aggressive up front. And they've got to stop the run. I mean, when you talk about being aggressive, I mean, John Wolford isn't an issue if you're in a situation where they're able to have Cam Akers and Malcolm Brown just run over you. I mean, they won't need to pass, and so they got to do a better job than what they did last week against Wilson.
All right, Darren, let's get into our keys to the game presented by Arizona Ford Dealers, and I will lead things off here with my first key, and that is do or die. I love the dramatics in that, Kyle, as you know. I mean, there's really no other option now. The lackluster performance that we saw last week cannot happen here today, and we know that. It's Week 17. Win it, and you're in it. I just expect more energy. They know what's on the line. Fight for that spot in the playoffs. There needs to be a sense of urgency from the get. And my second key, lock them down. The Rams, of course, will be missing some key pieces on offense. And last week, a similar story, but hopefully a different result here today. Cannot allow them to go off in the run game, as we talked about, and make this first-time starting quarterback feel uncomfortable. To me, it's all on the defense here today. Kyle?
My first key is earn the right to rush the passer, meaning that, you want to get to third down and you want to make John Wolford uncomfortable. In order to get there, you have to get them to third and long. So I think first and second downs are so important. Stopping the run, forcing incompletions. I mean, if you can get a sack or two on first or second down, that's huge. So I think the Cardinals will be in really good shape if they can consistently get the Rams in third and long. But my question is, can you do that? Because Sean McVay is a really smart guy. He puts his offense in good positions, and the Rams are going to try to be 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, moving the chains effectively and not be in a bad spot. My second key is don't panic. This is a huge game. Everybody knows the ramifications of it, but you can't have players out there trying to do too much in a situation like this, blowing assignments, losing track of guys. I mean, everybody wants to make a play, but it has to be within the structure of your offense and your defense. So I'm looking for that early to see if guys are trying to do too much instead of just playing within themselves. Darren?
My first key is, for Goff's sake, don't overthink it. And that's just simply, when it comes to the quarterback, it's not Jared Goff anymore. It's John Wolford. But the bottom line is, Sean McVay's offense isn't going to change. And you've got to make sure that your eyes are in the right place defensively. Don't get fooled. Don't start thinking they're going to do something super special with this new quarterback, even if it's more simple. It doesn't get more simple with what the Rams do. Just do what you're conditioned to do when you play against the Rams to be okay. My other one is find a way for D-Hop. And that was before we knew Larry Fitzgerald and Christian Kirk weren't going to play. I thought it was important for them to get DeAndre Hopkins going. Now that you don't have your number 2 and number 3 receiver, it's ultra crucial to get DeAndre Hopkins involved. And that's going to get that much more difficult with Jalen Ramsey playing out there. Now they could double and even triple team DeAndre Hopkins, knowing that there's just not a lot of other receiving threats for the Cardinals.
And perhaps the biggest key all season long for the Arizona Cardinals has been Tom Reed for the Arizona Cardinals. Luckily, there haven't been a lot of COVID cases with the Cardinals, and they haven't been hit with it too much. So kudos to Tom Reed and all that he's done here for our organization. All right, Darren, stay safe. Happy New Year, and hopefully we get to do this again next week.
We'll keep our fingers crossed, Lisa, and I hope you're staying warm.
I'm always cold, which is, I don't know why I'm doing this, but it's my mom's sweater.
It's fashionable.
Good luck charm here today. All right, Darren and Kyle, we'll see you later. All right, Kyle. Well, this Cardinals know this Rams defense all too well. They've been especially effective against the pass, allowing a league low of 192.3 yards per game. Kingsbury previews this Rams team in his weekly show Game Plan alongside Paul Calvisi and Ron Wolfley.
And if you're talking about the Rams, you're talking about Aaron Donald, right? And, Michael Brockers. I mean, they have a fierce front seven.
They really do. Yeah, we experienced that just a couple of weeks ago. They're a handful. All those guys do a great job rushing the passer. They have a great defensive scheme, and they're playing really well together right now, so it'll be a huge challenge.
Coach, is Sean McVay the kind of coach that will change things up after having success against you, or stay with what works?
I'd say a healthy dose of both. I mean, he's in his position for a reason and regarded as one of the top offensive minds for a reason. So he'll have some new wrinkles, but they're going to kind of do what's got him here.
Cliff, what do you know about backup quarterback John Wolford?
Yeah, actually, we scouted him when he was in the AFL, and he's a tremendous athlete, played at a really high level in that league, and can move around, make plays with his feet. And I know they're really high on him there, so I'm sure he'll be ready to roll if his number's called.
Well, a Cinderella story of sorts for John Wolford, but hopefully not the perfect ending for the Cardinals' sake in this one.
Yeah, I know. It's like everybody in the nation is kind of intrigued and rooting for him, but certainly not Cardinals fans.
And a lot of Rams fans, too, wanting to see what they have in him. Obviously been a little tough on Jared Goff this season.
The backup quarterback is always the most popular person in the building. We'll see if he can live up to that. But a guy without any experience in a game like this, the Cardinals still should have the advantage if they play well defensively.
All right, Kyle, let's move along here and head down Analytics Alley. You with a deep dive into the numbers, your moment to shine, presented by Gila River Hotels and Casinos. Take it away.
Yeah, the Cardinals have 4 players who have won the yards per carry crown in the NFL. Charlie Trippi in 1948, John David Crow 1960, Stump Mitchell 1985, and Andre Ellington in 2013. Right now, Kyla Murray leads the NFL in yards per carry with 6.2. Lamar Jackson is on his heels, so we'll see if Kyler Murray can join that list. And then my other Analytics Alley nugget this week, looking at the Cardinals playoffs odds according to a couple of different analytical sites. ESPN FPI gives the Cardinals a 37% chance of making the playoffs. Football Outsiders has them at 39.4%, and 538 is the most bullish on the Cardinals. They think they have a 55% chance of making the playoffs today. So they have to play the game on the field, but according to different sites on paper, it's close. It'll be a game that could be a coin flip.
Yeah, like we've been saying all week. Win it, you're in it.
Yep.
Stop worrying about the rest. All right, let's continue with the numbers game here in Week 17 with Truth in Numbers. One player in the last 21 seasons to have recorded at least 7.5 sacks and 6 forced fumbles in a 3-game span, and that player is Hassan Reddick.
116 passing yards needed by Kyler Murray today to become the first player in NFL history with more than 4,000 passing yards and 800 rushing yards in a single season.
716 career completions for Murray. That's the most in NFL history in a player's first 2 seasons, surpassing Derek Carr's 698.
26. If DeAndre Hopkins records at least 26 yards today, he'll become the youngest player in NFL history to reach the 11,000 receiving yards milestone.
In 1998, that was the year and the last time the Cardinals were involved in a postseason play-in game in the final week of the regular season. Arizona won that game on Chris Jackie's 52-yard field goal as time expired to defeat the San Diego Chargers 16-13. And where were you, Kyle Odegard, in 1998? I was about 8 years old. Huge fan of Jake the Snake. What a memorable game that was.
Yeah, I was 13. I still remember people taking that goalpost and riding it down Mill Avenue. It's probably, in the lake somewhere. I don't know where it actually ended up.
History made that game for sure. Well, hopefully there's more memorable moments here to come in the new year. Hook up your Bird Gang on the 2021 season ticket priority list. For more information, call 602-379-0102 or visit azcardinals.com/tickets for more. All right, let's take a look around the league for the scores. And really, the only thing up in the air right now is that NFC East division, Kyle.
Yeah, the Giants are up 23-19 on the Cowboys right now. Whoever wins that game will be in a pretty good position, because if the Eagles beat Washington tonight, that means the Giants would make it if they win, or the Cowboys would make it if they win. It's possible the Giants go 6-10 and win the NFC East. So not a banner year for that division, but if you get in the playoffs, you get in the playoffs.
Yeah, and let's take a look at the NFC West, which hasn't been as easy as the East, as you can see.
Yeah.
The Seattle Seahawks locking it up here in the West. And actually, just beyond the doors here, the 49ers are playing the Seahawks here at State Farm Stadium.
Yeah, definitely odd to be here and then have the game, 200 yards away while we're talking about Cardinals, but unique season for sure. And 49ers needed a place to play, and it's here. And now we got the Seahawks right there and the Cardinals on TV in LA.
Yeah, we can watch 2 games here,
Yeah.
Kyle. A doubleheader. Now, here's some scenarios here in the playoffs. Obviously, we've talked about it to exhaustion. The Cardinals just need to win here today, but what are some of the other scenarios, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, in all likelihood, it's just going to be if the Cardinals win, they're in. If they lose, they're out. The one caveat would be if the Cardinals and Rams tie, that means the Bears game matters, because if the Bears lose and the Cardinals tie, the Cardinals are in. If the Cardinals tie and the Bears win, the Cardinals are out. That's probably not going to happen. We probably don't have to worry about it. It's mostly about if the Cardinals win and they're in. If they lose, their season's over.
Don't jinx it, Kyle. You just
see if a tie
set yourself up. If a tie happens, just count me out the rest of the year.
That should be your bold prediction.
I still need to think about that. It's coming soon. Okay, well, this Cardinals front has faced a lot of hits this season, but one guy stepping up at just the right time, Zach Allen, and he joined me on the fly.
It was definitely, really helpful, just for like the mindset, just knowing that everything's been working, all the hard work, it's kind of coming into fruition. So I'm definitely glad I had that, and I definitely want to build off of that and really make a career out of it. I just don't want to be a one-hit wonder. So, definitely, hopefully, it can continue.
And you can catch our full interview by hitting that like button and subscribing to our official YouTube channel for all of our exclusive coverage on your Arizona Cardinals. And I've enjoyed that series all year long on the fly. We've had to do it a little bit different, obviously, per COVID protocols, so not able to do one-on-ones with players. But Zach Allen, just a guy that they really need to count on here today. You expect some pressure off the edges, but super important to get that interior pressure as well here today.
Yeah, you're right. The Cardinals know all about it because Aaron Donald is the guy doing the interior pressure for Los Angeles. Cardinals don't have that dominant defensive tackle, but I agree. I think Zach Allen is a guy who, if you're pinpointing a player that could bring that, he's the one.
And it's really impressive that he's able to play all along the line from 0 to 9 technique when he was discussing that and being able to be utilized for this defensive front.
Yeah, he's a versatile player. I think he needs to play well, and we've talked about it. Hassan Reddick, Marcus Golden, very important off the edge in this contest.
Perfect segue, Kyle, because let's get into our bird watching presented by Santan. 2 players on offense, 2 on defense. Kyle, who you got for the defense?
Well, I'm going in the secondary on defense with Patrick Peterson. The Rams don't have Cooper Kupp, which means Robert Woods is going to be their main weapon, and Patrick Peterson could line up against him a decent amount of time. Patrick Peterson been a little bit up and down this season, but he has great ball skills. If he can pluck an interception, that could be a big play in this game.
Yeah, important to try to get those takeaways here today. I'm going with Marcus Golden, really just the entire pass rush. Only 3 teams in the NFL blitz more than the Arizona Cardinals and Vance Joseph, and it'll be important here today to just get this John Wolford off his mark here.
Yeah, no doubt. And offensively, I'm looking at Kyla Murray. Dave Pasch talked about him earlier. I think this is a humongous game for the second-year quarterback. There's going to be a lot of eyes on him and what he does. The Cardinals' offense is missing some key pieces. Can Kyla Murray put this team on his shoulders and have a standout performance?
Or with his legs. And speaking of running the football, I'm going with Kenyon Drake. The Cardinals have not been able to run efficiently. Obviously, that's going to be tough here against this Rams run defense. They only allow only 3.8 yards per carry. That's less than 100 yards per game. So important to just break through that. Maybe some max protection here today. Get this run game going against this team. All right, bold prediction for the game. You go first. I'm still thinking about it.
I think it could be a sack party. I think 5 sacks for the Cardinals defense, which would obviously portend good things for the outcome of this game.
I'm going with a pick party. 2 interceptions, 1 pick six. I don't know who that might be. You know what? Buda Baker. I've been saying that like week after week.
He's got to get one at some point.
He needs to get one this year. Okay. Well, the only thing that matters, bold prediction, Cardinals can get a win here and get into the playoffs. Thank you guys for joining us for the pregame show. We will see you after this one.